As we welcome you all to the FiveStack. It is 5 stories. What we think are the most important stories facing democracy-loving North Americans, Canadians, Americans, doesn't matter where you are. We're in 142 countries. As are our subscribers, we love you. We're grateful you're here. We'll let you filter in, and we've got Lev Parnas coming up. We get some breaking news about the summit that never was going to be in the fucking first place in Budapest. We've got White House that's being torn down. We've got some more of these what do you call them? GOP Nazi chat group texts that are coming out.
Just more GOP Nazis coming up.
It isn't an inordinate amount of Nazis in the GOP, and they seem to love to text about it too. So we've got some breaking news about the OSC nominee. We've got more pardons, including possibly one for P. Diddy. But before we get to the good stuff, everybody. Yeah, I know, everybody. You're tired of hearing about the People's House. It's sad. We are going to talk about it today. Really glad we're here today. To Janet. Hi from Virginia. Hi, Shirley Figueroa. Great to see you. Lynn, what's up? Any news about Grindr Mike? No, that seems to have been put on the back burner. But let's get to the biggest news of the day. And I need to get this out. Last night, the Toronto Blue Jays shocked the world again.
Oh, here we go.
It's baseball. We're talking baseball.
Yeah,
I know
I got
how
it.
much you love talking about baseball.
Yeah, I love it. Love baseball.
They lose the first two games of their ALCS series against the Seattle Mariners at home. They go and punch Seattle in the face twice in Seattle. Then they lose game 5. They come home for game 6. They win game 6.
Okay.
Last night, game 7, down 3-1 in the 7th inning. A hobbled George Springer takes a fucking fastball over the left field fence. 4-3 Jays. Jeff Hoffman comes in the 9th, closes that thing right out with 3 whiffs. And I couldn't be happier today. Not because, and I love the Seattle Mariners fan base, lovely people. I feel sorry for the Seattle Mariners baseball club. Never made it to a World Series, but the first time in 32 years, the Toronto Blue Jays are going to the World Series. Now, listen, my fandom aside, the geopolitical storylines about Canada's only baseball team playing for the biggest trophy that belongs to America's national pastime is not lost on me. The glitz and the glamour of the Los Angeles Dodgers coming to Toronto as of today. They're flying in today with a $600 million payroll. A Jays team with less than half of that. They chop wood. They carry water. That's Hollywood. That's glitz and glamour. This is the fucking Great White North. And this team embodies the vision and the spirit and the principles and the values of what Canada is all. Now I'm flowing here. Give me a minute. What Canada is all about. The lunch pail kids, the bottom of the order, the collective, the team, the group. It matters more today than it ever did because of this Canada-USA thing, because of the whole Trump versus Canada, the annexation, the tariffs. You're not a real country, all that other stuff. Well, this real country that isn't a real country is going to play for your national pastime trophy. And I feel real good about it. Not going to make any predictions. I know you said Dodgers off the top, but I'm just going to take what you said and throw it right out the window because you have. I love you, but you have no idea what you're talking about.
No idea what I'm talking about. But the people who do know what they're talking about are saying out loud that the Dodgers are just going to totally defeat the Blue Jays. I think that's what they say.
On paper, they should probably.
They're a much better team. They throw, they pitch. What is it, pitching? They do a much better job at all that stuff. So. That's my sports commentary for the day. But I just also I feel like I'm going to be a counterweight to your Blue Jays fandom, and I got to say, the Dodgers are clearly going to win. I mean, whatever the sports analogy that I should throw in here, I would throw it in here, but I don't have it. They will win, and the Jays are just being used as a plot point, a ploy by the narrative builders around the National Baseball League to try and
Major
set
League
up
Baseball
a situation.
League.
Major League
it's
Baseball,
not,
whatever it's called.
You get read it. There's no conspiracy in baseball. Lev Parnas joins us.
It's no conspiracy.
There's no conspiracy in baseball. It's not an international incident.
There's always
Canada
a conspiracy.
has one team. Lev knows this. He's a Yankees fan. Lev knows this. Is that Canada has one team, and it is the Toronto Blue Jays. There are 29 others that toil in those United States of America that is under attack. Canada, true north, strong and free, took out the entire American League, and we stand to win the World Series.
Yeah. By very definition, we're going to lose because we only have one team.
Yeah.
I gotta give it to. I mean, after what Donald Trump has put Canada through, like they deserve, they deserve some. I mean,
Seek.
maybe it'll be interesting. Maybe it's being set up because if they win the World Series, then what are they gonna get invited to the White House? How does that gonna go down? I mean, there's a lot of things that play here. So.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is like sometimes there are a bunch of storylines here that have never existed for a World Series, right? Yeah. The Trump versus Canada bit, the annexation shit. Canada's not a real country. I mentioned it earlier. Canada boycotts the United States, decimating tourism, decimating their bourbon and wine industries all across the United States. And we're not only destroying the tourism industry, we're actually taking America's national pastime from them at a time when they want to take our whole fucking country. And I know that that's a beefy narrative, Lev, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Like they're going to play these storylines up. And let me draw your attention to the Four Nations Cup. Sorry to sports everybody off the top of this thing, specifically Zeb, who couldn't give a shit.
Please go ahead. Yeah, no problem. As much as you can.
But let me point this out. Canada won the Four Nations Cup. It was a hockey tournament of the most powerful hockey nations in the world. And they played against the United States, if you remember that championship game. Donald Trump calls Team USA in the dressing room. Donald Trump tweets about how much Canada sucks. The United States is going to win. Best of luck to the greatest country in the world. And then Canada just proceeded to beat the living shit out of America in the Four Nations Cup. And Donnie Dumps went quiet, Lev. He went real quiet. Yeah. And he hasn't said anything about this World Series, but he loves to sport wash, does he not? He loves to attach himself to those movements.
The same thing happened at what was that? Golf World Championship of the
Ryder Cup.
Ryder Cup. I mean, he did the same thing. He came over there. He made this whole big stink, and Europeans just crushed the Americans. Like, I mean, just kicked their ass, and So I mean, Donnie is not a good luck charm. I mean, Donnie 2 weeks, as I call him. It should stay away. I mean, just think about he's on a bucket list. I mean, he's running around the FIFA World Cups.
He did the U.S. Open.
He's getting ready for the Olympics. Like he's getting just think about it. The world's on fire. Now that there's the Nobel Peace Prize has passed. Now he's not. Now it's not about saving wars. Now it's like Israel is about to blow up. Putin, go ahead, do what you want in Ukraine. You know what I'm saying? To Iran, you want to go, start building. I mean, I don't care what I'm concerned about. And this is the crazy part. My sources are telling me he's literally in a different he's in a bubble right now. He's like in a bubble where it's like that Boy in the Bubble. There was a movie, if you ever seen it.
Yeah,
that was a serious movie about a child that was sick. Donald is sick, but he's in his own bubble where he is now full dictatorship, full building a legacy behind him. That's why he's redoing the whole White House. That's why he's building the I don't know what's the proper terminology, but
the Arc de Triomphe, the Freedom Arc. Yeah,
thank you, sir. Thank you, the Arc de Triomphe. I'm saying to you, UFC fighting on the front lawn. I mean, you keep going. I mean, and there's other plans I'm hearing, and it has none of it has anything to do with stopping the war in Ukraine, stopping the war and making peace in Middle East, and those are things that were supposed to be done by other people that were promised to him. Like Bibi promised him to do something that obviously is not working out the way they anticipated. Putin promised him certain things that he was going to do once he would walk away from Ukraine. Obviously, is not working out the way they anticipated. So a lot of those things are not playing out into his plans.
Let's pick up on the breaking news then, if I could, Lev, because that is important that we get into it. And I know, there's a lot of other things we could talk about, but this breaking news that you have broken and just recently, President Trump's hopes for a quick second summit with Vladimir Putin have been called off. The White House now saying there are no plans for the meeting in the immediate future. Tell us what you're learning. This follows the Zelensky meeting the other day where Trump apparently pressured Zelensky to give up the Donbass region. Now, nothing's going on? No meetings planned?
Yeah, I mean, listen, how far back do you want me to say I broke this news ahead of time? I mean, I'm not being sarcastic, but I mean, this is part of the same old game plan, and I've been for months. I've been warning and telling people.
You've never been wrong, dude. You have not been wrong once yet.
It's part of the delay. It's part because this plan was hatched months ago. This plan was hatched going back to when that delegation from Russia came in under the radar when nobody knew about, and they said, and I wrote about that. I said they're going to delay, because look, let's take it back. What we were talking about. It's important for people to understand how this whole thing came about. Donald Trump makes certain statements. Statements like I'm going to stop when he was running for president, even when he first came in, that he was going to stop the war in 24 hours. There's a reason why he was saying that, because he was being pitched a certain plan, he was told, because Donald Trump doesn't listen to his own security personnel. He still feels there's a deep state involved. He still feels he's being lied to. He listens to loyalists and people out there that basically yes him to that, but then give him the information that he also wants to hear. These are people like Steve Witkoff, people like his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, that has already learned how to deal with his father-in-law, especially because Jared needs to manipulate him for his financial reasons and his stances where he believes and to work him the way he needs to. So this group of people have been working with the Russians since 2017, and I've been reporting on it since Kirill Dmitriev and Jared Kushner met in Saudi Arabia when Kirill Dmitriev was running the sovereign wealth fund for Russia. Since then, they've bloomed. They've continued the conversation. Witkoff was a part of that group, so this is not like some new. There's a reason why Trump named Witkoff the envoy, special envoy to the Middle East and to deal with the Russians, because of in the background it was actually Kushner that was pulling the strings, and Witkoff was running around being the face. It's a whole operation, and I call it a shadow operation. That's the name of my book. Shadow diplomacy is how Trump likes to run the way he does things behind the scenes. And that's what you're seeing play out coming up to now, like what you're seeing play out all the way. It was all a delay game. It was all because at the end of the day, Russia promised Trump that if Trump walks away and stops giving them military aid, if Trump messes NATO up to the point where they don't know if they need aid for themselves, where they're now worried about being attacked by Russia themselves, and now they're stockpiling on military aid. If Trump gives them all of that and doesn't put sanctions and makes this world a crazy place, that Russia would be able to take over Ukraine in a week. And once Russia takes over Ukraine, Trump comes in as the white knight on the horse and says, I stopped the war when there's nothing to stop, when just like you see in Israel and the West Bank, where, Gaza, where there's already annihilated, there's really nothing to stop.
Yeah, and they're still going at it.
And they're still going.
Not stopping.
And that was the same thing that was promised to him here. And just like you see there and here, neither one of those things came to fruition. Lots of what did come to fruition, and what's not being talked about, is all the people that died, all the lives that are committed, all the children that are dying, all the generations that are being destroyed, families, all these things that are happening. And Donald Trump, continues to play that. I don't even say, I don't want to say play, because it's more devious than play. It's not a game. He's not. This is a plan, because at the end of the day, and this is what, just like the Budapest, this is why now I reported on this, Zev, uh, the morning of. The day before, so Trump, what was it? Friday. He was Friday. They had Zelensky was supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah.
So Thursday morning, I got a phone call. Thursday night, it was overnight. I got a phone call, and I said Trump is about to call Putin, and they're about to go over the plan. And I wrote a Substack letter for those of you who could go check it out. And I said Putin might be speaking to Trump as I'm writing this letter, or they will be speaking today to discuss how to deal with Zelensky, just like Trump did when he had all of the NATO countries and all the EU countries, and he stopped and went to go call Putin. Remember that one? To talk to him, because the real leader, the guy that's running the show, is Putin. He needs directions. He's like, okay,
yeah, he had to step out and call his dad to make sure that it was okay. Yeah,
right. So here he's like, okay, I got Zelensky coming tomorrow. So what's the game plan? So Putin gave him the game plan because Putin knows that region. He knows how to play every single person in that region, and that's why he told him. He said, "You're going to come out there and you're going to say we're going to have this meeting in Budapest." Putin knew that meeting could never take place. He's a wanted criminal. There's no way of him getting there. Even that's why you see Poland coming out saying, "Listen, if he flies in our airspace, we're going to take him down. we're gonna arrest him." So the way Hungary set up, this was all a show to be able to, when Zelensky came there, as I wrote about, is to put pressure on him and say, "Listen, well, we're not going to give you the tomahawks. We're not going to get. We're going to walk away completely. You need to stop this war right now. You need to take this whatever wherever this peace line, ceasefire, whatever you want to call it." The one thing that the media doesn't understand is Secretary Rubio is just a figure of imagination. He's not part of the inner circle. So that's why when Rubio spoke to Lavrov, and Lavrov said, Trump understands, like, there's no ceasefire, just like we spoke in Alaska. Until we take over and we're satisfied with the amount of land we take over. I mean, he says it bluntly right out. I mean, I even put a video of it in my letter if you guys want to go see it.
Yeah, it's Trump, by the way, the letter that you put out, it's levermembers.substack.com. Trump's Ukraine plan exposed, what the media finally confirms that I warned you about. That's the name of it. It's an excellent piece. To your point, just wanted to let everybody know.
Thank you, my brother.
But two things that are happening. The Ukrainians are doing really well on the war front. They're actually, what's really upsetting their plans, Putin's plans and Trump's plans, is that the Ukrainians are doing well. They can stand up on their own 2 feet and they can put up a battle against the Russians. And that no matter how much American withdrawal is happening and how much lack of support there is from the United States, it's still going to be a tough war for Russia to win, regardless. And for all these efforts in Gaza and elsewhere here in Russia, this man, Donald Trump, he's turning out to be the worst peace negotiator in the world. He prematurely announces peace every single time. No one's going to believe him next time because he keeps screwing it up. If you don't actually have the peace deal, don't announce it.
So can I ask you a question then? Because that leans into something that I was just thinking about while I was listening to you talk, Zev, and then Zev brought up another great point. Was there ever a peace deal in Gaza? Or was this all fucking theater? Yeah.
No, also no, because even today, think about this, guys. Remember, I tell you, watch what they do, but sometimes
not what they say. Yeah,
not what they say. What did today Witkoff, or who was it that actually slipped out and said during their press conference that Jared Kushner is the investor here?
Yeah,
he said that
JD Vance.
JD Vance.
Great peace negotiator as well.
This is important. Why? Because again, because to answer your question, was there ever a peace deal? There was never a peace deal worked for Gaza. There was never a peace deal for Ukraine. Both of them were for different business propositions.
Yeah.
Gaza was always the piece of property for Donald Trump and Jared Kushner as the Mediterranean. In their own way, it was a peace deal because
they wanted the Mediterranean Riviera. They wanted all the assets, casinos, Bitcoin, energy, rare earth.
That's what Gaza.
And they got it. Yep.
And so it wasn't a peace deal. It was basically, here, Bibi, you go annihilate, do what you need to do, get it to a point where we're gonna come in and now we're gonna do this. So that's first of all. Today you even heard some crazy shit. I mean, Trump posted or tweeted or whatever that basically he said that now he's being asked by people, by Middle Eastern Arab countries, that if Hamas doesn't behave themselves, that they want now America to go in there and to teach him a lesson. I mean, this is crazy shit. He's just basically preparing, and JD Vance comes out and says, no, we're not gonna have boots on the ground. We're not, this is the type of shit that they're talking about. It's like Looney Tunes, Trump is like, you keep keep talking, I'm going to I'm going to show you how powerful we are. Like, if Bibi can't get rid of you, I'm going to get rid of you. I'm going to continue. So, but that was there. As far as Ukraine goes, it was more than just, it's not land, because Trump doesn't want land there. Over there, it's about minerals, it's about gas, it's about oil. It's because it's about
Nord Stream.
Nord Stream
Yeah.
2, reinstalling the power, and the dominance, which where what is being sold to Trump, that the United States and Russia, and that's why you're hearing about bridges and tunnels and all this crazy. Realize, because it's about the new world is where Russia and the United States are powerful enough, control all the oil, the gas, the minerals in that region, and take Europe and put Europe to their knees. You know what I'm saying to you? And basically, and America takes over Canada, Greenland, Mexico, and what's it called? Russia takes over all the Baltics and, Poland and all of that. China goes after, Taiwan, that nobody, and stuff like that. And it's a new world, new map that gets built up. And everybody say, because that's, kind of what is transforming.
How's that going for them? Because it isn't going very well. I mean, it's not working out. The plan is not working out, gentlemen. So,
well, that's that. It's the same multipolar approach, Zev, that you and I have talked about for now a year, right? Which is the whole goal is to turn this world into 3 different sections. One section owned by King Trump, another section owned by King Vlad, another section owned by Xi, Asia, Europe, the Americas. Let's carve it up. But it's not for the purposes of, we just like planting our flags. It's to enrich everybody around them, including and especially themselves, with owning the means of production and distribution of everything that the world will need in the next 2, 3, 400 years, which is rare earth material, which is energy. And these guys want to own everything from the fucking shovels and the pickaxes to the pipes and the ships and the trading routes. And that's the goal here. And when we talk about it, people don't talk about it in those terms. They're just like, well, I can't believe you're interested in the sovereignty of another country. And I want to get back to that. Because as we know, the Budapest summit was going to be bullshit anyway, and in no way were they going to do that meeting. When he's like, "We're going to go meet in 2 weeks," as you like to call him, Donnie 2 weeks. A week later, Donnie 2 weeks is like, "Yeah, gigs off, and I'm building a ballroom. Look at that; it's going to be great." So like between that and the fact that it's not going well because Ukraine is doing their fucking damnedest to not just stay in the game with their allies and their partners, you have to wonder at what point, and I would ask you this, Lev, you have to wonder at what point the gig is going to be up, because we had Jacob Carsbo on the show yesterday, and Zev asked him a really important question. He's like, well, what can we all do? And he goes, well, there's only one fucking solution. The free world needs to go all in Ukraine and defeat Russia in Ukraine.
Well, I mean, he's 100% right, but I'm gonna tell you the whole why Vladimir Putin is such, and I say it, I call him a genius, an evil mastermind, because he is very smart and very groomed to be able to get to use the tools that we're talking about. We're talking about stopping, how do we get to what's it called? Jacob, you said, I'm sorry, go ahead, repeat what you just said.
Oh, Jacob Carsbo said the only way that the only way that you're gonna help Ukraine, the only way to save Ukraine, the only way to stop that Russian creep, the only way to stop the oligarchy from taking over a multipolar world is to go all in Ukraine to beat Russia in Ukraine.
Correct, and that is the key. But you know what's stopping for everybody to go all in is what? Because Putin has enabled Donald Trump. America is hurting Ukraine, not helping Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
America, if Donald Trump would just walk away and stop with the 2 weeks and stop with let's negotiate peace, like I'm going to promise them that he's going to give them tomahawks, promise them he's going to give. If he just literally said exactly listen, I'm not going to give you anything, I'm not going to help you. You guys are on your own. Go work it out. That would actually help the Europeans. It would help NATO. It would help Ukraine. It would help them to destroy Russia and kick their. And Putin knows that. That is why Putin keeps Trump in the game, because Trump is the wild card that constantly doesn't allow. Why doesn't Ukraine go all out on Ukraine? Because Trump doesn't allow them. Trump keeps telling Ukraine that, listen, I don't, if you want peace, we're trying to do peace. He's dangling that carrot, and
Very
Ukraine
important, yeah.
can't find full war because they're thinking, what if Trump does do it? What if, we have that hope. Same thing with NATO. Same thing with Europe. Trump keeps telling them, on one hand, he says to you, yeah, sure, if Russian drones are in NATO airspace, knock them down. But then right after that, the follow-up question is, will America support NATO? He's like, well, we'll see. We have to see to that. So you know what
That's
I'm
really
saying?
astute, Lev. That's really smart that you're pointing that out. That, Putin is using Trump in that very strategic way where he's able to control the situation through Trump. That's very smart.
Correct. I mean, and that's the whole plan, because if right now America gets out of the way, Europe, Ukraine, just think about this. With all of the chaos going on, since Trump has come into office, zero help from America, no tomahawks, no patriots, all conversations, to the fact that even all the stuff that was supposed to be given by the Biden administration was stopped by Pete Hegseth. With all the craziness, Russia still has not moved. It did not take over Ukraine in all these months, in almost a year. In almost a year, with full force, Ukraine. What we're hearing is how Ukraine has now number one in drone manufacturing.
In the
How
world.
Ukraine has their own missiles and weapons and CERN that are going. How Ukraine is destroyed over 60% of Russians' oil refinery. See, this is the stuff that, man. Now imagine if Trump would just walk away already and just leave Ukraine alone, and they could now attack deep into Russia, where now we could have, NATO not worry about, no, okay, this is what we need to do. Russia, it would be all over with like this. And that is why Putin is the mastermind and Trump is the idiot. Trump, like, is more concerned about, and that's what everybody in his inner circle, like whoever I speak of, my sources, like right now, he's obsessed and concerned with that, the building, the overseeing the building of the ballroom. That this is, well, you know what I'm saying to you. That's why Vance is flying to Israel. He's not even, I'm saying to you, you got Kushner, he got,
What a mess. What
Russia,
a mess.
he just got into a fight with Zelensky, and now he's done. And
just really a total mess. Sorry, I was cutting you off there.
No, go ahead. I mean, this is where we are.
Well, I want to throw it over to Zev for a second, but to your point, and I posted a piece on this, some stunning pictures. The world is burning. Ukraine's begging for help. Ceasefire in Gaza was never a ceasefire. The IDF has started to bomb again. Hamas has started to bomb again. Zelensky's still begging for help. And Donald Trump is literally building a fucking $200 million monument to himself. And I'm looking at videos and pictures, you can go and check it out, of the White House East Wing where all the work gets done, getting literally torn down. This is a 200-year-old facility that's being torn to the ground so that Donald Trump can put up. And if you've seen the renderings, it looks like a Roman monument that acts as a ballroom, that acts and the rumors of them, asking if he wants to have a throne to troll people with, that he can kind of bring in, sit on, laugh at people, because he's really leaning into the kingly thing. But what a lot of people don't understand is that the White House, when it was originally built in 1814, people don't, I don't know, I found this out recently, is that it was built to look like a home, not like a palace, on purpose. Washington effectively said, he saw the renderings and they were going to build him a fucking castle. And he's like, no. This is supposed to be diminutive. We don't have a king in America. We don't want a ballroom. We don't want a fucking palace. Build that White House and make it diminutive on purpose, as a representation of what America is truly going to be, a country governed by the people, for the people, right? So
that's an extremely important point you're making there, Dean. This is so important. That's why we should stop right there for a second to understand what Donald Trump is doing, because this all leads into what he's doing with the Epstein files. This all leads into what he's doing with the January 6th Commission, with the indictments of Comey and others. And it's what is Donald Trump doing? And this is what I talk about every day. He's rewriting history. It's part of it. He's taking away what you just said there. That is American history. That is what America's based. And by putting in the ballroom, by turning the Rose Garden into a private Mar-a-Lago club, by going out there, turning January 6th insurrections into a deep state operation by the FBI, by doing all of these things, he's basically rewriting history for it to start with now. This is where the Trump era begins, and this is where the history and everything prior. And that's the same thing people are trying to do, like with the Holocaust, same thing with the Chinese did with Tiananmen Square. You know what I'm saying to you? It's part of the first, it's any dictatorship. What do? When they come into power, they
erase history, rewrite history.
He's delusional. He is delusional. I mean, there's no one who's believing his bullshit. Like he can try put up a ballroom and try declaring himself king, but literally this emperor has no clothes. This guy is not going to be able to convince anybody that he is the king. So he's setting himself up for the most dramatic fall ever, because there is not a chance in the world that the U.S. military is going to follow his orders into any of the stupid ideas that he has. And there's not a chance in the world that Americans are going to follow him into this mythical world that he created for himself, that he's some sort of monarch. He is not a monarch. We don't allow for monarchs. He can't be the monarch, and he's going to have to be out of there in a couple of years. So, the delusional part is interesting. The fact that he's trying to do all of this is fine, but he's doing it for himself.
Can you imagine?
He's rewriting history for himself.
Boys, can you imagine if all of his efforts to shut down 2026 fail? Can you imagine if they take the House and the Senate back and they're mid fucking ballroom construction?
Not only can I imagine, I swear to you, I dream it, I see it every single day because I'll tell you honestly. I mean, as funny as crazy it is, because it is actually, because if we don't take 2026. It's gonna get really bad really quickly. If you think it's bad and quickly now, because you gotta understand, because the one thing is, I've said 100% right, that Trump understands we the people will not stand for kings. He saw that when we had over 7 million people go out there on No King's Day. He understands we the people will not stand. We're not blind. He understands. That's why he's trying to take away our elections, our rights, our constitution, and rewrite Project 2025. But what he was able to do, he was able to, which other presidents, because we had other crazy nut presidents like him that had crazy theories that wanted to control the FBI, McCarthy, we're not going to go into it, prior to him. What they weren't able to do, what this sick man hasn't been able to do, is he's been able to get the congressmen and senators and turn them into such enablers that they basically sold out our only guardrails that our forefathers in our Constitution put in by making it a three-part democracy, where we had three institutions to oversee it. So we wouldn't have a king, so we wouldn't have a monarch, so we wouldn't have a dictator. And so it's when we talk about all of this, we can't just be talking about Donald Trump. We need to hold accountable every single one of these Congress.
Yeah, all the corrupt guys are going to be out of office. All of them. All the corruption has to be rooted out. Every single one of them.
Out of office, like Malcolm Nance says, we should have trials. We should have
absolutely,
because what these people have enabled, because they were our line of defense. Because Donald Trump could be as sick as, because just think about it, we're hoping to win back the Congress to be able to put in a line of defense to stop him at what he's doing. So if we had people in Congress that had half a heart, that had some decency and courtesy and some to stand up and to do their job.
I believe the word you're looking for, my friend, is balls. I believe if you have balls.
Yeah.
Well, they're also corrupt. They're also corrupted. Democrats too, to some extent. No one trusts any of these politicians. There's probably 1,000 people that are doing all of this to the rest of America and the rest of the world. And those 1,000 people have no place to be in power. They should be in jail. They should be behind bars. They are corrupting our government. They're corrupting people. They're stealing everyone's American dream day in and day out. And they just need to be thrown into jail. I mean, there's no other way to look at this. We don't need any more evidence. We can see what's going on. The the criminals are in charge of the institution right now. We have to get them, we have to get them out of power, and we have to get them behind bars. And the military needs to stand up for the American Constitution and the American people.
But just think about it. This is very important that we keep the focus on what's it called, because we the people, yes, but our voices, we need to be, we need to understand where is the problem. The problem right now, as much as it is not Donald Trump. The problem is the enablers that are allowing him to do what he does. So it is the first step before we get the Senate. It's the Congress. We have right now over 200 congressmen and congresswomen and all we need is 4 or 5. Just like look what happened with the Epstein files. We had some of the hardest staunch Trump supporters like Marjorie Taylor Greene come up and sign and stand with the Democrats, because it should be such a bipartisan. It shouldn't be a bipartisan issue. Same thing here. There should be an effort. We shouldn't have to wait till 2026.
We don't have to. The Constitution says that we, the people, can go and march over there and tell them to get out of power. That we can petition them to redress our issues, and if they don't redress the issues, which they have not, they can be booted. That's what the Constitution says. It provides us that right. That needs to actually happen. People actually have to get up and go there and get rid of this government. It's not one of those things that is a maybe if, we'll first demonstrate and see if we can get how many million people to march down the streets of their main cities. Go and get rid of this government. This government is doing nothing for you but stealing your entire future, stealing trillions of dollars from the treasury, and plans on corrupting the entire place to the point where everything that used to be good is now evil, and everything evil is now good. It's beyond reproach. We have to get rid of them. I mean, everyone knows this. And why are we so scared? Like, I mean, are we scared of what? Are we scared of Donald Trump, this fat, old guy who likes to imagine himself defecating on the people of America? Are we really scared of this guy? Are we really scared of the military? Are not behind him. The military are not behind Donald Trump. They
I don't know.
No, they're certainly not behind Exxon.
I don't know. If you take a look at videos in the streets, you see National Guard, you see ICE, you see them. Yeah. We don't see the Marines, we don't see the generals.
He's entitled to actually do that. Ultimately, I mean, the courts have spoken in Portland, and they've done what they've done. Look, the reality of it is, the longer we wait, the more corruption and more authoritarianism is going to be put in our way. We're already seeing the Justice Department completely defiled. I mean, it's not even the Justice Department anymore.
But let me give you this, Zev. This is what I'm trying to say, and just follow what I'm trying to say. We and you are on the same page.
Yeah.
I think it's about getting it done. If we right now, you go put together a march onto Washington, D.C., you're going to get, again, just like it's another day event. You'll get some media, or you might get a lot of people who go to prison because he'll just do the insurrection act. Whatever the case is, what I'm saying to you is you're not going to get rid of. Yes, you're right. That's our constitutional right. But right now, we don't live in we don't have those constitutional rights. We don't have free speech. We don't live in that. We don't have those rights.
We do.
You think you do. We do. We hope we do, but we are living right now, and you have to realize it and admit that you're living in a dictatorship, not in a free United States that was there a year ago. Because we don't, because people are getting arrested, indicted, corporations are kneeling down, media is falling apart. You're seeing it every day.
Law firms are giving him billions of dollars in free labor.
It's happening. Yeah. So we have to admit to where we are. We're not in a good position. We are right now sinking quicker and quicker. So yes, those certain rights, certain things that the Constitution enables us, we unfortunately is not the first thing that's going to help us. What we need to do is our first line of defense is what the guardrails that the forefathers gave us, and that's a three-part constitution where we have the Congress, where we have the Senate, and where we have the executive branch. The executive branch is lost. The Senate is too far apart. But when we come to the Congress, it is so narrow, and that there is so many. You talk about hundreds of congressmen and congresswomen where we could take and this is what I'm trying to do behind the scenes, where we take our effort and we go to those, because just all you need to do is go into, and some of them are small little states or counties where they don't want their name to be exposed. They don't want to go on record where they're going to vote on the Epstein file. And All we need to do is go change 4 or 5 votes, and then we could have the Congress start impeachment trials now. We could have the Congress start doing things now. So what I'm saying to you is, just like we're trying to have Congress right now, we're not waiting. Think about what we're saying. This is what I'm saying. We're not waiting till 2026 until we get the House back to release the Epstein files. What we're doing is we went across the aisle, and we were able to get for what Ro Khanna did. Think about what Ro Khanna did with the Epstein files. We need to do the same thing with our Constitution, with our humanity. We need to be able to go get 4 or 5 congressmen or congresswomen right now to join our fight to stop Trump from doing to what he's doing. That's all it is. Your answer, you don't have to.
I don't disagree with any of that. I think it's all laudable. I just don't think it's going to happen before the 26 elections. I don't even think we're going to have our government back in any time soon. Maybe we won't. They know that it's a loss-leading proposition to get the House back in order, so they're just going to leave it shut down. I just don't see why we can't have a sustained presence at the White House or at that park across the road where you held up that Bible, whatever it is. Why aren't we occupying that space and saying, we demand that this regime answer our petition and regresses our demands, and our concern with this government are these things. This government is either going to do that for us, or we want to use our constitutional rights and get rid of them. That's
you're talking about getting 1 million Greta Thunbergs not to leave Lafayette Square, right?
Yeah,
like that's what
I'm
you're
talking
about.
A million people or less. Who cares? 100,000 people. I just want people there every day.
You have no leadership. You have no unified message. That is your problem. When you get the Democratic Party is in disarray. Nobody wants to.
That's the point. They're useless. They're not doing anything.
But that's
so
the
let's
whole
get.
thing.
So let's someone else can do something. That's the point behind a democracy. Anybody, any group of people who feel that they need to do this can march up to that White House and say, "You no longer represent us. We would like to have a new government." And it's within the rights of the Constitution. It's very specific. It lets Americans do this. It doesn't exist in many other constitutions, but it lets America do this. Why aren't we doing it?
Well, and I think to Lev's point, if I can, we're all saying the same thing. Idealistically, that's the solution, and there are a couple of different solutions. Idealistically, 7 to 12 million people don't show up every month or every second month. Hundreds of thousands of people show up every weekend, every single weekend. And maybe 10, 15, 20,000 people don't leave. And I'm not joking about Greta Thunberg, but I'm not joking about Greta Thunberg. She stayed in front of the Swedish embassy talking about climate change from the age of 14 till she was 16, for fuck's sakes. She didn't leave. She didn't go to school. You can mock her. You can do all that other stuff. But what I'm talking about is a sustained effort. And what Zev's talking about is 100% correct. You have people that are ripe for the picking. I finished Virginia Giuffre's book this morning. Okay? Nobody's Girl. If anybody's read it, if you've ordered it, it is a very, very difficult read. And I coupled that with an interview that Tara Palmieri did the other day on MSNBC. And Tara's incredible. You should go. She's done some of the most incredible work. She's on the inside. She traveled and toured with Virginia Giuffre. And she said something really incredible. She said, the second, if we do combine with this book, and Virginia Giuffre left a whole bunch of loose ends for people to pull on in this book. It's truly fucking incredible. If they can give us the unredacted Epstein files, you're not just going to see 5 to 6 GOP congressmen and women go over to the other side and not just vote for the impeachment of this man, but vote for full transparency about the Epstein files, because they don't want to be known as pedophile protectors. They don't want to lose their jobs. They don't want to go home to their constituents and go, yeah, sure, he's a pedophile, and yeah, he's protecting other pedophiles, and sure, all those names came out. Yes, his name's in it, but I get a black car that goes everywhere. I've got a great pension. So you have to understand that I did what was right for me. It is going to be a nuclear level event if those Epstein files come out. And I want to point to something that is still going on with Adelita Gravalva. She is the congresswoman from Arizona who still has not been sworn in almost a month. She's the 218th signature for the discharge petition. Almost a month. And Mike Johnson is literally, I don't know if you guys read this morning. I'll send it to you. She goes to his office, and her aides go to the office 2-3 times a day, and he hides. They'll give him a fucking heads up going, oh, here she comes. And he'll go and hide in another room. And they'll go, sorry, Mike Johnson's not here. He's been doing that for 3 fucking weeks. And these videos you see of him getting absolutely accosted in Congress, people going, hey, can you swear her in, are being misrepresented as psycho Antifa Democrats, lunatics that are marching into my office being mean to these Capitol Hill officers. It's truly an amazing psyop. But my point is this, is that there are a couple of different loose strings to pull on here, whether it's Giuffre and the unredacted Epstein files, or it's to what Lev's point is, which is how do we tip the scales by bringing some people over? There could be a perfect storm coming, and Donald Trump is shitting his pants right now, which is why he's redoing the fucking ballroom, right?
You're totally right, but what more do we need to know? We have a pedophile in the White House. We have a organized criminal in the White House who is busy stealing the very wealth and the resources and all the things that make America a secure country.
An adjudicated sexual predator and 34-time felon in the White House.
A conman, a criminal, a guy who can't even keep a straight face when he's negotiating a peace deal with everybody because he can't even negotiate a peace deal. He's busy trying to exploit it to make money off it. He's corrupted the entire judiciary to the point where we've got 35 different judges telling them that they're, telling us that the White House and the Trump administration are lying to them, repeatedly lying to them in judicial documents in order to get people thrown into jail, people who have no reason to be charged at all. They're making shit up all along. You've got a Pete Hegseth as the Secretary of Defense who's lost the faith of his entire military brass. No one will support this guy anymore. You've got the ICE hooligans running around the American cities, arresting people just at sight for no good reason, deporting them for no good reason, taking kids out of beds at night and arresting them. What more do we need to know that this government is not the government for the American people? It no longer represents the American people, and they need to go. And the Constitution actually tells us how to do it. And so we can do it, and I don't know who that person is going to be, but there is a leader in the American world. There's 300 million people. Somewhere in there is someone who cares enough about the future of America who's going to stand up and go and march and lead the march towards that Lafayette Square and tell that government that it has to leave power.
Do you know
it no longer represents the people's
Do you know the
interests.
Do you know the legendary status of 9 to 10 GOP congressmen and women if they're like, all right, we're out?
Like, but those guys are not going to do it, and I'm tired of waiting for them. I'm tired of this shit. I think everyone is tired of this shit. How much more do we wait for? Are we going to keep waiting till the elections and then keep waiting till that? The waiting is killing us. The waiting is why we're here. We knew this was going to happen 10 months ago, but we still let it happen, and now we're 10 months into a dictatorship. It's going to get worse and worse and worse by 2026. Now is the time to do this kind of stuff, and now is when we should be doing it, if not months ago.
Listen, I listen. I agree. I'm the one you're preaching to the choir. I agree with you 1,000,000% that I've been saying it 4 months ago was the time to do it. The only thing where me and you disagree on a little bit, and again, I don't disagree with you. I think everything. There's no one thing that you should be doing. We should be doing everything, throwing everything at the board, doing marches and this and that, and writing and all of it work. I think, but if we were to concentrate, and if you were to ask me. It's like, again, this is what I said with what happened on No Kings. We had an incredible turnout. We had incredible news. You had all those people, and then today, 2 days later, who's talking about? What's happening?
No one, because it wasn't a sustained effort. It was a one-day protest. It was a nice photo op.
That's exactly what I'm saying to you. What I'm saying to you is we can't have just sustained moments in time or pictures or another day in 6 months have another No Kings 3.0. What we need is a sustained effort, and that's where we are all on the same page. We need it to continue, and that's why I think a very important part of the effort, and I think we all agree upon it. I think this is one of the things that we have going for us, and what we need to push on more than anything is the the release of the Epstein files, to make sure that the Epstein files, those survivors, get a chance to sit down with Trump in the Oval Office. These are the things that we right now already have cooperation from the other side. This is something, and just like you mentioned, Zev, and just like I agree 100% that once these Epstein files comes out, just like what Dean said, is in Virginia Giuffre's book, just like it will be an onslaught that will lead into then the other Republicans.
I agree with all of that. I agree with everything you're saying, but I still think we can have thousands of people outside the White House every single day saying, "Get out of power."
You need a leader. Get the leader first before you go. See, that's the whole thing. Everybody should say it. See, it's
need a figurehead.
Say what we could do, and this is why I want everybody to stop. And with all the respect, listen, we could all sit there and say, "Rah rah rah, let's go out there, let's go Creed, let's go out." Yeah, never. But who's gonna do it? What is that? In 5 minutes, when we get off the show, it's done. Nobody's gonna go do it. What you need is an actual sustain. Right now, we need actual movement.
So it needs to be organized. It needs to be done as the Ukrainians have shown us, as the Israelis have shown us. The way it needs to be done is it needs to be organized in a way that we know that there are
as MAGA has shown us
that there are ships of people, that there is a place you can go and log on and register yourself and say, "I'm going to be there between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. in the morning every single day."
Why you can't do that? You know why you can't do that now? Is because Trump controls, and right now the narrative is they're going to label you Antifa, and that everybody, and that's why they're going after George Soros, and that's why they're going after the money. Because
the Constitution lets you do this. The Constitution lets you do this.
Stop with Zev. I love you, Zev. I love you.
I know, but I know what you're saying. But
we don't have a what Constitution?
We do have a Constitution.
Not anymore.
Who's listening to? Who's gonna? No, stop. If you want to mention the Constitution, tell me who's going to enforce it. Who's going to enforce it? Because Trump is not listening to the Constitution. Because if we had a Constitution, we wouldn't have people getting taken off the streets. Zev, stop. We wouldn't have ICE raiding people's houses. We wouldn't have American citizens thrown in El Salvador. We wouldn't have Portland right now.
Well, I don't. Let's parse that out, because I don't think that's entirely true.
Arrested for freedom of speech. People go out there and say something Trump doesn't like. They go in jail to that. What Constitution are we talking about? Stop.
Let me just interject. Let me interject here. Karen Bass held a press conference yesterday. She announced that there are 170 Americans. 170 Americans being held by ICE, Californians, Americans. No due process, that have been in detention for over a fucking month. Mm-hmm. The Constitution of the United States of America, if not dead, has been completely fucking disregarded by a man who owns the judiciary, by a man that has $150 billion ICE goon fund that he's currently filling the streets with brown shirts and fucking cool helmets. This man had Emil Bove tell a federal judge to go fuck himself when they tried to stop illegal deportations. He doesn't. He's having congressmen and women, judges arrested who just don't agree with him. Or like, dude, and I understand what you're saying too, Kev. I get it. I get it. This is no one's arguing with you.
I don't think you do.
We're agreeing with you. And in an ideal world, yes, this is the farthest thing from an ideal world. This is the farthest thing from a government that works for the people, that observes the Constitution. He fucking hates the Constitution.
But the Constitution still is there. And I'll argue that, yes, the Justice Department is completely corrupted, but the judiciary is still operating very, very well and is still pushing back where necessary. You've also got the military, who are still, beholden to that thing which you say doesn't exist. They are still beholden to it. That's why we had an admiral resign the other day.
How can you say that with a clear face when we're killing people in the middle?
Well, we just saw an admiral resign his position for the exact reason. Which means that they're still beholden to that Constitution.
Wait a second. Stop. What Constitution? We have military that are killing people in the middle of the international waters because Donald Trump, it says, without due process, that they are terrorists. And because of that, we are shooting them. We have video. We are destroying. We've killed already, 6, 7 boats?
27 people.
And we've had an admiral stand up to his leaders and say this is not legal, and he had to resign.
And then they blew up another boat.
Stop. Wait a second. Are you really serious? You're going to tell me by resigning he stood up? He's a coward.
They fired him.
He left.
They probably fired him.
No, but that's what Donald Trump wants. They want them to resign. They want
Yes,
they
and the
want,
thing is,
why
if we
didn't,
keep waiting,
instead of
there'll be
resigning,
no generals and admirals.
no. Instead of resigning, why didn't he turn around and say, no, we're not going to shoot the people. I'm not going to take those orders.
Well, it's probably
Then
what he
I
did,
would
and he
have
was
said
told
we
to
should have done it.
resign. I mean, that seems to be what was told. But, he wasn't resigning because he resigned. He didn't get the answer, and they told him, if you don't like it, you got to go.
No,
And
but what do you
that's,
mean if you don't like it? He's the one that's giving the answer. See, this is what I'm saying to you. There's a chain of command.
yeah.
Yeah, he didn't want to get prosecuted. He didn't want to get
Yeah. No
court-martialed.
one wants to
He
get
didn't want to go
prosecuted.
to prison. So that's why I'm saying to you. So who wants to start up a march to Washington, D.C., where stand in front of
Because
ICE
you could
and the
still
tank?
do that. You are still allowed to protest. The
Dude,
Constitution allows you to protest.
listen, hold it. What is very, very apparent is that you have faith in a constitution that has completely been avoided, shit on, and totally ignored by
It's
Donald
not.
Trump and his
It's
regime.
not.
Yes, it
It's
has.
not being
Yes, he has.
completely, totally ignored.
I'm telling you, he is completely ignoring the fucking Constitution.
He
You
is
can say
trying
the
to, but he
Constitution
is
is
not
not being
succeeding.
ignored.
He's still going to the courts to get permission to do a whole bunch of things. He's still beholden to the court's judgments. He is not.
Did you see that? Did you see that a federal judge just okayed his appeal to send troops into Portland? Did you see that?
And they
That
argued
is
it.
not.
They argued it in the way that they feel feasible. Look, the National Guard is not the military. The National Guard is the kind of thing that the president does have at his disposal to do sort of things. Has he instituted martial law yet? No. Has he instituted the Insurrection Act? No. I mean, those are other things he's got in his tool belt. Basically, he's still following the rule of law in this country. It's unfortunate that he's doing it. What he's done to the executive is disgusting. I mean, what he's done to the Justice Department is an absolute appalling thing. It'll take
Do you
years.
think he's following the rule of law in the United States of America?
I think he is still following the rule of law. And I think if he wasn't following the rule of law, it would be a very different situation. I think he's pushing it to the very, very most extreme boundaries of it all. But he's still beholden to the law. He's still doing everything he's done is within the boundaries of the rules so far. He's yet to do something, I don't think, that has gone beyond the rules. I mean,
dude, he's killed 27 fucking Caribbeans for no fucking reason.
Agreed, and that's why I think that's happening in the militaries.
Right.
You know what I'm saying. I mean, this is a way.
Dude, we agree. I think Lev and I agree.
We need to get out there in front of the White House, and we need to say enough every day. We need to be there every day.
Don't disagree. Lev said that. How many times have you said that? You got to go and hold a fucking press conference in front of the White House, right in front of, was it 2200 Pennsylvania? Is that the address? 1600 Pennsylvania? I don't know the actual street address, but Pennsylvania Avenue. You got to fucking stand there. You got to hold press conferences with victims. You got to do these things because he doesn't fight fair.
We need to.
It's about capturing the piece of land. This is what we've seen in every single place in the world where this thing has been stopped.
Lev, he's right into it. Eh? He wants to own Lafayette Square.
I love you. I love you, Sam. And maybe one day we'll own Lafayette Square. But I'm going to tell you, just the only way we're getting back our democracy is to be strategic and smart.
Because that's worked where? Where's that worked?
Let me explain something to you. Because what you're talking about right now is basically you rather take your arms and you want people to bring their arms and start a revolution. Because what I'm saying, you think? Let me ask you honestly. What do you think if you put how many people you want to bring in Lafayette Square? Let's just take an example. How many people you want to get massacred and arrested? How many?
I don't think anyone's going to get massacred and arrested. I think you're going to have 50,000 people there protesting in a peaceful way every single day.
What's going to every single day? Who's going to pay them?
You don't have to pay them. People can do their civic duty and sign up and do different shifts and know that they're going to be there. That's what happened in Ukraine. That's what happened everywhere.
If you could find me these people, then do it. You're not going to find
50,000 people in the United States. There must be 50,000 people who care enough about this government to the United States to do this. Otherwise, what's the point of doing it?
They're not there. They're not there.
Then no one wants the Constitution that America's given up.
No, because you have to start being naive. Our Constitution doesn't exist. People don't want to go to prison for no reason. People don't want to go get arrested for no reason. People are scared. That is what he is doing. There's a reason he's doing it. But
I know. But if people get arrested on Saturday or whatever it was, no one got arrested.
Listen, there's a smart way of doing it, and there's just a naive way of going rah, rah, rah. What I'm saying to you is we're on the same page. We agree that we want the same result. We want to get what I'm saying to you is that's why you had 7 million people come out. What did that achieve? What did you get out of that? Just tell me one thing that you got
out of that. It wasn't sustained.
I'm
telling you, it wasn't sustained. We've got to get a sustained effort. That's what the historians tell us.
We agree on that, but we agree.
We all agree. But I'm not saying the sustained effort is about the Congress people. That's a nice thing to. We should definitely be going after the Epstein files. We should definitely be going up against every Republican that wants to quit. But we also have to be out there on the streets doing what our Constitution allows us to do.
But why go? Well, you have something simple, Zev. This is what I'm saying to you. This is what I'm trying to tell the people out there. You have the Epstein files. Why can't you just? You can't just think about this.
You don't need to convince me about the Epstein files and the importance of the Epstein files. I know how important they can be.
I'm trying to prove a point to tell you that you can't even get a sustained effort every day for the congressional Congress to go out there in front of the White House to talk about having the Epstein files. You can't get the Congress or people out there every day to go out there to talk about how this government shutdown is because of the Republicans. Instead, everybody's on vacation. What I'm saying to you, and you're talking about, what I'm saying to you is, I would love that. I don't disagree. Don't misunderstand me. What you're saying is, I would wish that we still had certain rights in our Constitution, and that right now that there would be 100,000 people, or me and Michael Cohen talk about this all the time. We talk about, can you imagine marching 2-3 million people onto Washington, D.C., shutting down what everything does? That's what you're talking. Absolutely. But this is why Donald Trump right now is using ICE and the military and the Justice Department, and because he controls right now, Zeb. And this is what we need to realize. He controls oversight. He controls all the people that could put you in jail. He controls all the people that could throw you out of this country. The courts, you're laughing?
No, I'm not laughing. I think he controls a lot of the ICE. He controls the ICE.
What doesn't he control?
He doesn't control the judges. He doesn't control the judiciary.
How does the judges save you? The judges could say,
well, they don't put you behind bars. They will get you out of.
Deports him. Wait a second. Stop. Let's go. Kirill Abreu Garcia. Don't deport him. Bring him back from El Salvador. Oops, too late. He's in El Salvador. How can he get back? What I'm trying to say to you is, we have to call a spade. We don't have the only oversight we could get is if we could get Congress to step up and get 3-4 people, just like we did with the Epstein files. Same thing. What's different? Why can't we
everything? Do it all. We need to do it all right now. I mean, I think that's the point. we're in an emergency situation, and we need to take emergency action. Like, this is not one of those things that's going to resolve itself.
Hold on. I want to say to all of you that they're telling me stop it, Lev, you could go out there and protest. Why don't you go out there? You got big mouths. You can say to stop it. Don't listen. I'm not here to enjoy this show. This is not a show. I'm trying to tell you what you want. You want to hear some rah, 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 go out there, go ahead and do it. But you're not making any difference, and you're not going to save our democracy. So go ahead and play your stupid little games and go out there. I don't give a shit. You could unsubscribe to me, and for all you want. I'm telling you what you need to do to save your democracy, because I was part of building this fucking mega from inside out. I know what makes them breathe. I know what makes them tick. I know what they're doing. And everybody has an opinion. An opinion's like an asshole. So if you want, everybody has an opinion, and we could listen to the pundits out there. What Zev is telling you is 100% right. I'm not saying that we shouldn't march, but you don't have the march. You don't have the stability. You don't have a constitution. You have to wake up and understand the truth. And when you realize what the truth is, then maybe you will go out there and try to fight and save yourself. But if you're going to live in a bubble and an imaginary world where you think that we have some sort of constitution where we could go out there and stop ourselves, then you are lying to yourself, and you are not going to stop this constitution. So I apologize. I told you from day one, I won't listen to the pundits. I won't listen to the opinions. I'm going to tell you the way it is. I love Zev, and I think Zev is 100% right. But where I'm going to tell you he's wrong is that tomorrow you're not going to have a sustained effort in Washington, D.C. with 15,000 people every day. Because you know what? Like it or not, Democrats or Republicans, somebody pays for that. Somebody goes out and supports it. And that is why Trump is going after George Soros and the money and everybody. So you can't have a sustained effort. There's a reason they're doing it. Open up, listen to what I'm telling you. And that is why you want to stop it today, go out there and put 15,000 people in front of each and every one of those congressmen and congresswomen seat that are not voting to stop him or impeach him. You will see a big difference. If you could get Marjorie Taylor Greene to support the Epstein files, you're telling me you can't get 4 other congressmen that I've been telling you for 5 months? You already have Don Bacon. You already have Messi. Go get some more. We need to do what exactly needs to be done. We need to stop with all the bullshit, everyone and all the opinions. It's simple. We have the Epstein files. Sustain the effort. Get out there every day on the White House lawn. Talk about it. The Epstein files. We have the shutdown of the government. Go out there every day. Talk about that. We have Trump implementing Project 2025. Go out there. Talk. What else do you need? The economies and shit. You don't need to go do much more. We don't need to stand there and do it. They've given it you what, and until this day, nobody is doing that. And that is simple. So when they do that, I will agree with you and say, okay, yeah, now let's go march. Because till that, all I see is a lot of talking, a lot of people saying, we want to do this, we want to do that, but nobody's fucking doing a single thing about it. And I'm tired of it. And that's all I'm saying. But I agree with you, Dave. So don't.
The Democrats
hang
are
on,
not doing the job that they should be doing.
I need to take control of the
You take
sitch.
control, Gene.
What we just heard from both of you, as I sat back and watched you sharpen each other's fucking blades when it comes to trying to figure out what needs to be done, because iron sharpens iron, and we've got 2 warriors here, an investigative reporter warrior and a whistleblowing author, former OG MAGA fucking warrior, getting so fucking passionate about saving the United States of America, and they're both 100% right. And Lev, let me just say this. I got goosebumps and almost fucking started crying because you have been saying the same thing over and over and over again. You're not discounting what Zeb's saying. What you're trying to do is introduce the harsh reality of American living in America, where your human rights, the perception of your rights, the danger of going out in the streets, because people are being disappeared daily, because people are being beat, because people are being deported, because people are being fucking detained for being Mexican and being brown and being black. People are getting arrested and indicted for not liking Donald Trump. James Comey just got boned. He's going after absolutely fucking everybody. He's got NSPM 7 that he's now arresting people with for the first time in history for being anti-American in their eyes, labeling people anti-Christian. Do you know the chilling effect that has on people? Because I do. I do, as someone who doesn't want to go to the United States of America, because I feel that fucking fear. I can see that fear in Lev Parnas's face. It is palpable when I watch videos of people marching. I don't care how many people were at No Kings. What I do care about is that everybody gets as passionate in the United States of America as Lev fucking Parnas and Zev fucking Shalev. Because what we're all doing is trying to fucking come up with a solution and help people with a solution. And that solution is 3, 4, 5, 6-fold. That solution is organizing. That solution is one message, one voice. That solution is sustained presence. That solution is fucking money. That solution is fire hosing information to people on a daily basis better than they're doing it. And to Lev's point, unless that happens, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter how many people show up once a month for a fucking protest. It doesn't fucking matter what petition you fucking sign. It doesn't matter. And when we've got so many people saying the same things, and now you see infighting and arguing, and this has been such a beautiful, I mean, I sat back and just watched you two flow like a couple of fucking geniuses for a minute, a couple Democratic geniuses for a second. I thought to myself, we're all saying the same thing and we're stuck in neutral, because that is exactly the situation the entire United States of America is in, where everybody's doing the fucking Spider-Man meme. This is you're going to go. Am I going to go? I don't know. I don't want to leave my house. Are you going to go? What about your nanny? She got arrested. I don't want to go outside. I don't want to speak. I don't want to fucking post something about how disgusting it is that Donald Trump is demolishing the fucking White House right now to build himself a ballroom fucking kingly monument, because people are that afraid. If you're afraid to fucking post on social media, how fucking afraid are those people of showing up 50,000 strong daily in front of the fucking White House? It is a visual reality. And to the Constitution, may I say this, Zev, you're right. America has a Constitution. The fucking dickhead in the Oval Office is ignoring the Constitution, and he owns every level of government. You can say he's not, but dude, that Constitution,
the Constitution's still holding. I mean, we would not
freedom
be
of speech.
The Constitution is still holding. There's no ways you can say that people can protest. There's no ways you can say that states have lost their rights. That you've no ways you can say that the military does no longer uphold the Constitution. There's no ways you can say that the judiciary is not functioning as it should be. You can say all those other things, that he's corrupted the Justice Department, that he is.
Well, I don't know. I never thought I would see the Supreme Court tell. I never thought I'd see the Supreme Court tell Donald Trump it'd be okay to go and arrest people according to the color of their skin and the accent that they fucking
and the
speak
judges
with.
just told him it's okay, literally, to go into Portland.
Because National Guard troops into Portland. Sure, yeah. Look, it's a decision they made. I think they went through the legal processes, and it's a tough decision for the rest of us. But it's just the National Guard going into Portland. It's not the military going into Portland. It's the National Guard. We still have a vibrant, functioning. The whole point behind the American Constitution is that it defends itself. We have the safeguards of Congress. If that doesn't work, we have the protections of each state. We have the judiciary as a backup. All these different levels are meant to protect us from tyranny. But we also know that if tyranny does happen, that it's our right, our sacred right, as Hamilton said, for us to defend against that tyranny, because it's the founding of this very nation.
We agree.
People did that. And so why wait? I'm not saying have a revolution. I'm saying march out there and protest and demand that your redress of issues is fulfilled, that they listen to you. And if they're not listening to you, then we demand that they change. And if they don't listen to you, then you get to the revolution. But you have to be there every day. You have to be this on a sustained level so they can see you. They know that you're there. They know that you're growing, and that you need to, that there's a people imperative, a sacred right, as they say, that we are allowed to fight against tyranny. It's what America's built on. It's the very basis of our country.
Lev,
we need to be doing it.
Closing statement, Mr. Parnas.
I was going to say, I love you, Zev and Dean, both of you, and I'm so grateful that we have these conversations, because I think it's important in our passion, in our conversations, because people, and we're all on the same page. Let's start off with that. For those of you that want to, what Zev is saying, what Dean is saying, what I'm saying, the number one thing we're saying is we want to save our democracy. We want to get our country back. We want to we might disagree on certain things of how to get there, or opinions, and that's okay, because that's what makes America great. That's what America is based on.
It's what makes Substack Lives great too.
That's what makes Substack Live great. But the one thing that I just want to make very clear to everybody out there and understand that, look, what Zev is saying is part of what I always say is called hope. The fact that we still have a constitution, the fact that there are certain judicial judges out there still protecting the Constitution, the fact that there are still certain governors and law enforcement and certain military personnel standing up to it, is part of our hope that we are fighting for. Because if that was gone, we would not be here. Substack would not be around. It would be a next level of dictatorship, and we would be moving on. What I am trying to say, and this is what I want you to clearly understand, that just because that's our hope does not mean that is our current reality. Because our current reality is we do not have control of our constitutional rights. We do not have control of oversight. And that is why the only way we could get it back, we could do lots of things. We could go protest. We could talk about the Epstein files. We could do a lot. And all of those things need to be done, because it's not a one problem. When you go to war, you don't just say, okay, I'm just going to throw a bomb and that's it. It's a tactical. You have to attack misinformation, disinformation. You have to go, through the water, through the land. There's a lot of different ways. And this is a war. This is a war to save our democracy. What I'm saying, the quickest, the fastest way we could stop from what's going on and to secure to make sure that we're able to have a 2026 election. Because remember, we start off all of these Substacks, all of our conversations saying that if we don't act now, we might not have a 2026 election. So we all agree on that. It's just a matter of how do we get there quicker. So I'm giving you the answer. And the quickest answer is if we could get 15, 20,000 people to be able to go protest or do anything like that and do it in a sustained way, please give me a DM, call me. I will give you the 4 or 5, I'll give you 20 different congressmen and congresswomen right now in the Republican Party that we will go after, that trust me, we will flip them a lot quicker and we will make them come down because of their races and what's going on. And we don't have to wait till 2026. We could have another, just like we have Marjorie Taylor Greene and them standing with the Epstein files. Believe me, just so we could find another 4 or 5 people. But there are nobody doing that. There's nobody attacking them, and they're slipping under the radar. That is why they're having the government shutdown. That is why they're not. Johnson is sending them all the way there on vacation, so this way you don't see the names. This is all part of an orchestrated plan. So there are, yes. Do we need to do everything? Absolutely. But there's certain things I'm telling you, just like, for instance, very simple. The one thing that I'm telling you because I know Donald Trump very well. I know people inside that talk about it everywhere. And I'm telling you, the fact that we right now are not every day, there's not a major movement going on to put Donald Trump and ask him that every time there's not on the front lawn, there's not congressmen and congresswomen bipartisan with Marjorie Taylor Greene asking Donald Trump to do a simple thing is to sit down with the victims and the survivors in the Oval. That's it. That's a simple message. That's bipartisan, that everybody should get behind, and nobody's doing that. Just think about it. And that is one of the biggest things that Donald Trump fears more than anything. He fears that more than seeing 100,000 people outside the White House. Because 100,000 people outside the White House, he's going to say, oh, insurrection or whatever he wants to say. In Antifa, they're attacking.
Shoot him in the legs.
Shoot him in the legs and go crazy. But to have those poor women that have been suffered to sit there and face them in front of the whole world and to listen to their story and to not be able to then ever call it a hoax again is what he fears more than anything. And we have that. Today, just think about it. Today, Gifri's book came out. Her book came out today, and it's not getting the attention it's supposed to be getting attention. We're hearing excerpts here and there, but instead you're hearing talking about more about, again, the distractions about this Budapest. What did Marco Rubio talk about with what's his name, this guy, and what's happening there? Because that's his, kryptonite. So you're 100%. We just need to put our effort into the right thing, and we will get it done.
Yeah. Organized in the right way with the right people. Zev, you wanted to say something?
Well, I'll just say this. I mean, I put out something on Jeffrey Epstein almost every day on my Substack. I put Epstein more front and center than almost any other person out there. There are revelations just today about Jamie Dimon and the incredible amount of obfuscation that JP Morgan did over the years in funding this whole incredible Epstein corrupt operation that human trafficked these young women and girls for $1 billion worth of transactions that are yet to be explained. That's in the front page of Narrative today. Every single day I push the Epstein story because I know that is the story that can unseat this presidency, that can turn everyone's opinions around. I don't necessarily think that this Congress is going to be able to do it, and I don't particularly see the Democrats are exactly flourishing in this role in opposition. I think that the opposition is going to have to come from the people. And,
not exactly flourishing is a really nice way to say it, right?
Yeah, they're not picking it up in the way that Lev would like them. And I agree with Lev that these things are ideal. We'd love to be able to do these things. But the truth of it is the truth is going to win. The truth is coming out about Jeffrey Epstein. People are realizing that the president is corrupt. People are seeing his crypto fortunes, blow up while he's taking away Medicare and Medicaid from people. People understand what's going on. And, we do have a very beautiful constitution, and we do have this incredibly sacred right to fight against tyranny. And I'm just looking here at the Federalist Papers. This is Hamilton in Federalist Papers 28. If the representatives of the people betray their constituents, there is then no resource left but in the exertion of that original right of self-defense, which is a paramount to all positive forms of government, and which against the usurpations of the national rulers may be exerted with infinitely better prospects of success than against those of the rulers of an individual state. In a single state, if the person entrusted with supreme power became usurpers, the different parcel subdivisions or districts of which it consists, having no distinct government in each, can take no regular measure for defense. The citizens must rush tumultuously to arms without concert, without system, without resource, except in their courage and despair. The usurpers, clothed with the forms of legal authority, can too often crush the opposition in embryo. That's exactly what Lev has been saying. The smaller the extent of the territory, the more difficult will it be for the people to form a regular or systemic plan of opposition, and the more easy will it be to defeat their early efforts. Intelligence can be more speedily obtained of the preparations and movements, and the military force in the possession of the usurpers can be more rapidly directed against the part where their opposition has begun. In this situation, there must be a peculiar coincidence of circumstance to ensure success to the popular resistance. So, I mean, basically, it goes on, obviously.
Yeah, please don't read the long version.
Yeah. But, what he's saying here is the Constitution functions, systems of government function, the checks and balances function, that we should not ever have to get to the point where we have a revolution.
Well, they also said that that everybody should pick up arms and rush the White House. I mean, it's just,
which it says its final point, if it doesn't work, we need to be able to put up a resistance attorney. It's not even that we we have to. It's our sacred right to do it. It's our duty to do it.
Listen,
I love it.
At the end of the day, we all agree that we are going to fight till the end to save our Constitution. But all I'm saying is, right now, there's a quick path where we could literally do some damage. And if we would just find some leadership to be able to organize and put this together and help. And and the one thing you gotta understand, I don't sugarcoat it. The bottom line, just like Dean said, this is not. See, a lot of people out there think oh yeah, go out there and speak to them. No, it takes an effort. And a lot of this, everything that we talk about, there's one big thing that requires that the Republicans and MAGA has that the Democrats, and that's why a lot of you, even on this platform, don't take it offensively, but it is what it is the money. They have the money. Nobody, that's why you don't see the leadership in the Republic. You know what I'm saying? See, the Democrats will go out there and spend the money to use it as a write-off to all of these organizations right before the elections. It's like a system. But nobody's putting money into a movement. Nobody's putting money into into getting these ideas done. And that is the problem. With MEGA, just like Dean said, they have all the money. They do it. They have an idea today. They will go out there and flood the gate, buy time on every network, go out there and do everything again. So at the end of the day, it's coordination, it's unification. And then if you have the same message and you have unification in the message, then you could put the money behind it. But right now, we don't have, like you said, we have a simple thing, not simple, excuse me, let me reframe myself. We have a major thing that was given to us that Donald Trump fears so badly, that everybody knows it, that everybody hears it. It's not secret, it's nothing. And all they have to do, just think about it, all they have to do is every day make it an effort, not 15, 20,000 people, but 2, 3, 4, 5 congressmen and congresswomen with some of these victims and some of these survivors that are willing to do it. Go out in front of the White House lawn and ask that question in front of the media until Donald Trump responds. It's not that, and they can't even do a simple thing. I'll give you another one. Dan Bongino. We keep talking about Dan Bongino all the time. Have you heard any media go up and ask him any questions?
Not one. They hide him, and he's been fucking cryptic as hell lately too.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Have you seen any congressman or congresswoman stand up there and just even invoke his name? Even just say, listen, just put pressure on it. What I'm saying to you is it's like, yes, we could sit here and we could talk about all of these things, but look, the bottom line is this, and I want to make it clear, and this with all due respect to a lot of people, and this, but I need people to understand. Uh, 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 I'm not here to put on shows. I'm not here to get clicks. I'm not here to build an audience. I'm really the only reason I'm here, and I'm here because I risk a lot to be here. I'm still on supervised release. I still deal with the government and Donald Trump's actual whatever you want to call them, okay, under his control. And some of my sources and people out there risk every day. They risk a lot to be able to bring certain information, to be able to break this stuff out here. And that's why one thing I need everybody to understand is that there are opinions and there's certain things, and then there's reality, what could be done. There's only, it's like, I'll give you an example. The reason why the mob was broken up, the mafia, was because you had mafia insiders that eventually became turncoats, that eventually started working with the authorities, that gave them an inside view of what really the mob worked, how they acted, how they thought, what they wanted, what they achieved, to be able over time to be able to take down and destroy it to a point where, yes, are they still out there? Yes, but not on the same level. Same thing here. You know what I'm saying to you? There are people, not just me, but there are others. There are people out there that have lived inside that world, have know these people very, very well, knows what's going on. For instance, I helped build MAGA. I was there from 2015. I was there in the beginning. So what I'm saying to you is certain things that people need to start listening to, because I'm not doing it to get attention. I'm doing it because, like, it's very important. The fact that we're talking about the Epstein files and the survivors and Donald Trump not wanting it to happen, and that not being it's very frustrating. It's frustrating to see that we're not out there dissecting Project 20. And when I say us, I don't talk about Yuzev or Dean or myself. You guys are doing your kicking ass. And that's why you're out there. You just 100%. You're out there every single day from morning to night, putting out such incredible work when it comes to the Epstein. And 90% of it, the media never talks about. That's the sad part. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to get across. And that's why maybe we need to build a platform bigger. Maybe we need to make our voices louder. But what I'm saying to you is, we actually have ways we could save our democracy. We have ways where we don't have to sit and just wait for somebody to save us. We have ways to be able to go out there. We just need, I don't know what it is. And the reason why I talk, I'm not talking to you, Zev, or to Dean. I'm talking because we have over what, 1,600 people. Trust me, out of those people, we have people that are, in the Democratic Party. We have reporters, we have bots, we have MAGA, we have people for Trump. They're all listening because they all understand. And that's why hopefully I want somebody that in our party that's listening to understand, somebody to finally wake up and say, okay, let's put the game plan together. Let's go to work. Let's start getting back our democracy. Let's get under the offense. Let's stop being on the defense. Let's stop. And those things that you're saying, I agree with you 100%. All of those things, from the protests to writing the letters to your congressman, to you or using your free speech to be able to go out there to talk, to be able to go out there and not worry about being arrested. Absolutely. But it has to be a coordinated effort, because unfortunately, I don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't, but just knowing the devil that is inside, knowing who we're dealing with, that would feed into there. They want, because they understand. See, MAGA, Trump understands that most people want to use the Constitution against them. What most people don't understand is Trump doesn't care about the Constitution that you're trying to use against him. He tries to use it against him. So when you try to use it, this is what a perfect little example. What people right now are trying to use as their First Amendment right, their free speech, to go protest in Portland, in Chicago, against what ICE is doing, because that's what they're doing. They're going to protest against what ICE is doing. The fact that ICE is in their state, picking up people, beating them, them, throwing them into prison, shooting pastors in the head with bullets, doing all of this stuff. And they're going out there using their First Amendment right to protest and speech. And what is happening? They're being arrested. They're being beaten up. They're being taken off the street. They're being labeled Antifa. The National Guard is being brought in to control them. So what I'm saying to you is that is part of Trump's playbook. He knows what I'm trying to say is you have to deal. It's like, again, I keep using a football metaphor or a basketball metaphor. It's like you can't play the same game like it was in the 60s that it is in 2025. The game has changed, it evolved. Players have got bigger. There's a different game. Same thing here. Yes, our Constitution was made. But think about it, Zev. That Constitution was written how far long ago? It doesn't mean that these people were some kind of gods that foresaw things. Yes, they wrote, but the times have changed. They didn't, you know what I'm saying to you? And certain things should have changed with the Constitution, was not to get to here. We should have had more during the years, when we had, the McCarthy era and stuff like that. That should have been another time where we should have changed certain stuff and put more barriers into the Constitution to allow the FBI ever to go after us, to have those barriers. But we didn't. We just allowed a piece of, the Constitution. So yes, do we have it? Absolutely. Is it something that we need to look up to? Absolutely. But right now we
don't have to treat it like a 250-year-old document. We can look at what happened in Europe. We can look at what happened in Ukraine. We can look at what happened in other areas where authoritarian governments have gotten hold of power, and we could do what they've done, which is sustain protests, and ultimately they've succeeded. I mean, those are the only things that we know that can succeed. There is no other way. And I think back to South Africa on this, there is no other way that the apartheid government would have gone out of power unless there were people protesting, unless there were people out on the streets protesting. It's required that happens on a sustained level, that they know that there is an anger fomenting and that there is a resistance fomenting to their desire to control everyone's lives. And it's the only way we know. And it goes back to the founding of the country that works. I mean, that's the only thing I know. But, we can keep going around in circles. I think we hear what you're saying, Lev. You're 100% right about the Epstein files and the need to release them. They have so much incriminating stuff there about this president. We may never get to see them, or see them completely. But there is no doubt that this is a roadmap to the corruption and the criminality that is currently inhabiting the White House. There's no doubt that we should be pressing our Republican and Democratic Congress people to demand the release of those files every single day. It should be the number one priority. But it doesn't preclude all the other stuff.
No. And I like how you wrap that up, because we're all saying the same thing in the best interest of a free and democratic America. Canada wants America back. America wants America back. And the solution isn't just one solution, several different solutions. And as Americans and as Canadians that love Canada, and as three very attractive middle-aged men doing a Substack live together, I just wanted to point this out. This has been one of the most entertaining Substack lives, not only that I've been involved with, but that I've gotten a chance to watch, because watching two very passionate whistleblowers, two very passionate lovers of democracy, lovers of the constituency, lovers of the American framework, lovers of the founding fathers and what they originally intended America to be, which we've all experienced, want it back. They want it back. So listen to these two gentlemen. Subscribe to Mr. Lev Parnas. Lev Remembers at Substack.com. Run right now. Get him a paid sub. This is the kind of stuff you're going to get from him. And
Is it me or is it Dean?
I can't hear what Dean's saying right now. I think Dean cut out. But he's saying great things about you, because, it's 100% correct. Everyone should check out Lev Remembers. Everyone should give him a paid subscription. And Dean has gone away, which means we'll probably go away any minute now. Thanks for watching the FiveStack. And it's just the two of us now.
Oh,
finally got rid of that Dean guy. Go Dodgers. Lev, I get so much love for you, man, and I appreciate everything you do, and I love that you are a fighter in every regard. And all this conversation is super important. We have to have it, and we have to get rid of this government. I mean, that's the only thing we all know, we all agree on, and it'll happen. So thank you very much for being here today. Thanks for interrupting your afternoon, whatever it was. And we shall see you again on FiveStack and on other shows. And everyone should check out Lever Members and give him a subscription because he deserves it. Thanks for watching the FiveStack.
I love you, brother. Take care. Everything is clicking all over the place. I
know something's alive over here, but there you go. There's a lot of attention we're getting. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.